Hello and welcome to this week's Stamping and Creating with me, Fiona Whitten. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Wokingham in Berkshire. This, as I said, is a Stamping and Creating week. So just please bear with me for 2 seconds whilst I double check that this is actually going out live. Hopefully it is. Looks like it. Right, brilliant. Okay, so first off, I made these cards Monday for a craft and chat with some of my team, the Acorns. So this was the sample that I made to share with them, and then this is the one that I actually made live as we were going through the instructions and chatting away. So and I wanted to share with you how to make these too, but also show you that you don't actually need to have dies to create something that is just as cute. If you're wondering, this is the new Utterly Adorable paper, which is one of the new online exclusives. And I paired that with some of the dies from the Spotlight on Nature. And then this is, I can never remember the name of the paper now, it's the one with all the birds on, which is in the mini catalogue. And I use the Stylish Shapes circles. So if you do have dies, then you can craft along with us and use circle dies or square dies in whatever shape or form you have. So long as they're concentric and you have, I mean, this has got two layers, and actually that middle layer I used a punch for it. But I also have made, to show you today, and this is what we're going to be making today, I actually made one using no dies at all. So this is just simple square cut using my trimmer. So so you don't actually have to use dies. So I've got no dies, there's no embossed cardstock. If you look here, this has got embossed cardstock. And for this card, I simply use exactly the same paper that I have on the bottom and for the birds. And then when I open it up, again, there's another square and some more paper, so I quite like the inside of this. I think it's really quite sweet. So this paper was exactly the same paper as what I've used for that card. And as I said, I can't for the life of me remember. I'm just having to quickly flick through my... someone's probably shouting at me as to what it is. I'll just quite quickly look through my catalogue. Nests of Winter, that's what it is. So that's the Nests of Winter paper, both of those are. Anyway, but this is what we're going to make this afternoon. So I don't know if you have any your crafting things with you. What you will need is a sheet of cardstock, coloured cardstock, that will coordinate with whatever paper that you're using. So I have, well, I've got two actually, because I can't make up my mind at the moment which one I'm going to use. So I've got Pretty Peacock, and I've also got Lost Lagoon. I've also got a sheet of basic white, and then I have some cardstock paper here, which is from the Season of Elegance specialty pack. So it has some gold foiling on it. So I thought I would use up some of that today. And as I said, I don't know whether... Actually, I think I might put it on the Lost Lagoon base card, now that I'm looking at it next to each other. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, I think I better move my glass out of the way so that I don't end up spilling that. Okay, so first off, you're going to need your paper trimmer. And we're going to cut, this is an A4 sheet, so we're going to cut it in half on the long side at I do it at 14.85, but 14.9 is fine. So I'm cutting that in half, as I said, on the long side. So you've got half a sheet that you're going to use for other bits and pieces. And this sheet, half a sheet that we're working on, we're going to turn it. So again, we have the long side at the top. And we are going to score it. Remember to score and not cut. So remember to use your scoring blade. So on my stamping trimmer, it's the lighter colour. So I can push that out the way, and then I've got my darker colour, which is my cutting blade. So that is well and truly out the way for a change. You want to fold the cardstock in half on that line that you've just scored, and give it a good burnish. Okay, oops. And then we are going to cut this again. So because if you look at this, I've actually cut out a whole section of the card front. And it is roughly half of the card front again. So this is roughly, well, as I said, it's 14.85. So let's pretend it's 15, and we're going to cut it at, actually we're going to cut the bottom bit. So I want to keep this bit. So what I am actually going to do is I'm going to turn it around and cut using my bottom portion, so that I've got the 7.5 portion on the bottom there. And I'm just going to cut it directly up to the score line. So if you don't have a trimmer that's got markings on it, so you don't know how far you're actually going, if you just mark up from the bottom on that right hand edge, mark up at 7.5, then you know where you need to cut across to that score line. And then you're simply again going to put it back in at 10.5, and you're going to cut down to that cut mark. And if you just sort of keep going till you can just sort of pull it out like that, and you know that you're done. So that's going to be your base card, like so. And then we need to cut some paper. So that's really, for the base card, that's all we need, other than we will be cutting 2 squares as well. Now, from memory, she says, I'm actually going to hold it up to here. You want 2 8x8 squares. So I'm just going to cut this on the long side at 8 centimetres, and then cut 2 8x8 squares on this, like so. Okay, so we have got a base card with a piece that's been cut off and 2 8x8 centimetre squares. So then we've got some bits left that we may use some of that. Now the paper, you're going to be cutting 3 pieces. Yes, you're going to be cutting 3 pieces. We're going to do it slightly different to this. So your first one is for the inside of your card, and this is going to measure 10 centimetres across by 14.4 centimetres down. It's really, obviously, if you've got patterned paper, which really matters which way you put it around, then you need to be careful. I think I'm just going to cut my 10 first. So that's my 10, and then I'm going to cut it at 14.4. So that's the bit that's going to go on the inside back panel. So you will see some of that showing through here. Okay, like that, once you've stuck it. Now you also need a piece to go on here, which is going to be 10 again by 7 centimetres. So it's 10 centimetres across by 7 centimetres tall. Let's see, do I have enough on this? I do actually. So that's going to be 7, so I'm just going to put that to one side for a minute, by 10. And use the bit with most of the gold. And in fact, I think I might actually turn that up so that most of the gold is there. Like so. Now this is going to sit on here. Now, when it comes to sticking this square on, you can obviously put it square on. You can, I was going to say you could make it as a diamond shape, but you would actually need to cut it down. But that's just an alternative. So for this, I am now going to need another piece of this paper, which is going to be, that's 8 by 8, it needs to be 7.5 by 7.5. Like so. That, and I need another piece to go on the inside. Again, that's going to be 7.5 by 7.5. So that's going to sit on this one on the inside of the card. And then we also need some white. So if you've got scrap white, that's great. If you haven't, don't panic. You're just going to use a 7cm by 7cm square, and you're going to need 2 of those. My scrap seems gone walkabout, so I have no idea where it's gone. So that's 7 by 7. And that is really all the cutting that you need to do. So we have 2 basic white 7 by 7cm squares. We have 2 of your double-sided paper, so you could use either. So those are 7.5 by 7.5. You have 2 squares that match your base card, which are 8 by 8. And then you have a piece of paper which is 10 by 14.4 to go on the inside of the card, and then another piece of the paper to go on the front of the card, which is 10 by 7. And then all we need to do at the moment is simply glue these together. So I'm going to do that quickly. I'm not going to quite glue everything together. So one of the white squares I'm not going to glue to its counterpart, because I want to stamp on it first. So I've put the piece on the inside. I need to put the piece on the outside. I would suggest that rather than having the card open, that you actually have it shut, so that you can line up your paper so that you have a continuous, so you can actually see it stays in line here. So that's going to be that bit. Like so. That is that piece. So we have, these are the squares that are going to go on the inside of the card. So we have the white in the middle so that you can actually write on it. And the rest of the layers are really just for decoration. So I'm going to put this on here. Now we're not actually going to glue, although we're going to glue the 3 bits together, we're not actually going to glue them inside just yet. Because having them lined up with the square on the front is really important. So it means that we need to have the square on the front on first. I mean, you could put this in first, which means that you then have to line up this, but then that means you're then stuck with wherever you want to put that. So I would suggest that you put that in last. So again, I'm just adding some glue, putting that on there. Now, I'm not going to stick this one on yet either, because I need to decorate this piece of white that will sit on there. And I grabbed hold of the Yuletide Village stamp set. So I'm going to use that. Let's see now. I'm just going to go that way. Yep, right, okay. I just need my block. So really, for a minute, if you just want to watch what I'm doing, and then obviously if you have got a stamp set and ink and things that you want to use, then by all means carry on decorating that basic white panel. So I have my stamp set and I have my tuxedo black ink somewhere. Oh, dearie me. One of these days. I know I had it a minute ago. There it is. So I'm just going to ink up. Stamp this on. Like so. Now, I was going to put another house there, but I think I'm going to put that Christmas tree. Stamp him here, and it doesn't matter if he's off the edge slightly. So I'm going to put him here. I think to do that, he's on perfectly. There we go. I'll stamp that up, and I'm just going to quickly do some colouring. Now I've got some Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon. And I've also got a basic black marker, because what I wanted to do was to carry on this line slightly over there. And I've also got some greens to do the Christmas tree. Let's see, now I have Old Olive. Those might have been the only ones that I grabbed. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this is the one that's actually run out, or is in the process of running out. Let's see, what's the other end like? And I keep meaning to order some more, but I'm actually going to take advantage of the sale that's on at the moment, because you can get money off your inks, stamps. I'm going to say inks, it's only the Stampin' Up inks, so you can't use the Memento is not in the sale. Just trying to give it a bit of shading. Some of the foil paper actually is Old Olive. I've got a marker as well, because I thought there was a wreath on there, but there isn't. So it's just a bow, so I'm going to use my marker, my real red marker for that. The rest of it I'm just going to quickly use my stamping blends. She says, let's just put it all over her hands. Windows. Actually, let's go the other end. That might be a bit better. Oops, I need to do that as well. to make, I think I'm going to make one door is going to be Glass Lagoon. And the other door is going to be Pretty Peacock. And this is the lighter colour. Although you wouldn't think so. When you see the darker one, yeah, you do realise it is actually a lot lighter. Just about make out that now. And let's use some grey. No, I'm going to use, what's this? Not that. How weird is that? What's this one? No, light smoky slate. Okay, so it's going to be a light coloured smoke, light smoky slate coloured house. Try and do this as quickly as possible. I might leave the other house white. So that, I'll use the darker one. Oh, maybe that's the darker one. Dark smoky slate. Let's do the windowsills and that, and then that's that. And that's that on top. And then this one I'm just simply going to do the windowsills again. There we go. So then that's going to sit on here, which will then go on my card. So you can pop this on dimensionals, you can glue it on, it's really totally up to you as to what you want to do. So that's going to go on here. And then again, this bit can be popped on either by glue or dimensionals, but be careful, you only want to glue this bottom portion, which will be glued to this. You do not want to stick it onto this portion here, because then you'll be actually in effect gluing the card shut. So maybe the bottom 2 centimetres. It's like a sensible amount. And then it's up to you whether you want to place it central on the card or towards the top a bit, so that you've still got room to put a sentiment on down here. Let's see, try and get that even-ish. There we go, that's that. And then to glue this in the right place, you want to apply the glue to the back, so apply it to the portion that is actually going to be sticking to the inside of the card. And then simply place it over the square, or what you can see of the square that's on the front of the card. Make sure it's all lined up, because the whole idea is that when the card is closed, you don't see it. And then simply close the card on top of it and make sure that you then sort of have it all flat. And then you look at it and you realise that actually something's moved, which is a pain. You know, it's worked every single time that I've done this, apart from now. Still not right. It's one of the reasons I like using glue, because it means that I do have enough time to move it. That will be fine. Although the only problem is if you're using glue and you have gold foil or silver foil, you have to be careful not to get everything on that gold. So I want to add a sentiment, and I did grab this Merry Christmas from the Reindeer Fun stamp set, which is here. And I just realised I've actually got the stamp, but I didn't get the ink. So let me just grab some Pretty Peacock, I think. Actually, I'm going to grab both. I've got Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon. And I have some, this is not long enough. So I need that, and I need a, that's it, block. So if I put that upside right way around so I can see it, I can then pick it up with my block. And I think I had that to be, from memory, 2 centimetres wide. So I'm going to cut two 2 centimetre strips, and I'm going to stamp one in Lost Lagoon and one in, actually I'm going to cut one long strip. And that might be easier. So, but obviously you can create a strip to fit whatever greeting that you're using. I find that I sort of measure my greetings and then just add a bit so that I've got some white space around them. I'm going to go Lost Lagoon first because that's a lighter colour. Try and stamp it straight. You'll notice I say try. That's that one. And then I can decide which one I prefer to use on the actual card front. I'm going to leave quite a bit of a gap on this so that I've got plenty of space to cut. And that's that one. Do I like that? Actually, I do quite like that. But that's quite nice as well. Typical. Right, let's cut that. I think I'm not going to layer this portion. I'm just going to, let's see where that goes there. Let's go that way. So I'm just using this so that I've got exactly the same slope. So that could go on there. Yep, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to need some dimensionals. Which I did have to hand. Don't need too many, just need the 3. Like so. Put that on. That needs to move over slightly. The only problem with these is that sometimes trying to work out where exactly you should have it starting and finishing doesn't look straight, but hey, that's that. I could add something on here, like I could stamp a tree on a piece of scrap, colour that and add that, or I can just leave it. Oh dear me, got bits all over the place on that, like that. And I think we probably need to add some bling. And I don't think butterflies are appropriate this time of year. Let's see what I've got. Something that, oh. Faceted gem trios. They may even have retired, but what the heck, I've got them and they work quite well with this. Take your pick tool. It's very large blobs of snow, but hey. Yes, you know what, they do look out of place. So they're not such a good idea. Seemed like a good idea. I'll take them off again. Just quickly find something else. Want something? Oh, we go. I'll just use those. These are the adhesive back sequin trios. Obviously, the pink's not really appropriate, so I'm just going to use the white ones. Which means you might not be able to see them too well. Maybe if I went for the bigger ones. Come on. Well, that didn't happen very well. Managed to leave the backing on the paper, so you know what, I'm just going to move that then, stick it back on again. Got to keep to my uneven numbers. That's 4. I always tell people not to think too much about it, because then you just cannot make up your mind and it just never looks right. So wherever you fancy putting them, just go for it, quite frankly. So that is my card for today. Very simple. It's a standard card that you've cut half of the card front off, and then I've used squares to decorate, and so these are just simply cut using my trimmer. But if you have dies, so long as you have a couple of like circles, they can be squares, they can be rectangles, they can be whatever shape that you want, ovals, so you could make use of those. But as I said, I've just kept it simple today. No embossing folder, and simply cut squares and decorated. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. I will put the cutting instructions up on YouTube in the description once I get this all posted up, and I will get that sorted. And I'm back next week with Virtual Card and a Cuppa, which will be the second one for November. And don't forget, the sale is on at the moment, ends 10:59 p.m. tomorrow night. So stamps, inks, bundles, paper, cardstock are on sale. Details are up on my Facebook page, or you can check it all out on oakfieldcrafts.stampinup.net. Okay, take care, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.